Hello everyone, my name is Rick Morgan. I am a student of learning to press and clean comic books. I'm hoping to teach you some things too, but this week we're taking a little bit of a diversion and I wanted to talk about Neal Adams, who passed recently, and a little bit about John Romita too. But first I want to do a shameless plug and ask you to please like and subscribe to the video. I didn't monetize this channel forever until I learned that that somebody, I'm thinking possibly Google, monetizes it for you if you get popular enough. And so I said that was some weapons grade BS, so I started monetizing myself. So now I want to see where that goes, so please take care of that. Also, I wanted to share that I'm giving a little talk next month, sort of like a TED talk. It's called Statistically Speaking. It's revolutioning sustainability through green chemistry, and I'm doing the math and statistics part of it to show people, to show stakeholders, people who would make decision makers, who would make decisions and write checks, like how do they know what they're getting for their switches, like what kind of green chemistry are they getting, how much money are they saving, like sort of putting numbers to the good feels. That's my part of it. It's on May 19th from 1 to 2. It'll be live. You can register for it. I will put a link in the description. And so it's a passion for chemistry and the environment. And this is Grace Lasker. She's my partner, and she's given her talk. And we are both plenary speakers. And here's me. And if you want to see that and sign up, you can do so. Second, this summer you won't be hearing a lot from me for a while. I'll be traveling. I'll be going to Nigeria, going to Africa for a few weeks, and doing some other traveling. So I am going to help them teach them to remove cyanide from their waste stream of viral load testing after COVID with ASLM, which is African Society for Laboratory Medicine. And so I will be in a few countries there in Africa in June, and some other travel in July, doing some good work there. So if you're interested, you can follow my adventures when I come back, or I'll sort of, as much internet as I can get, I'll post some things there. So anyway, on with the video. Okay, finally let's talk about Neal Adams, who was, one of the greats. He was one of those people who, if you go cover hunting, you were probably likely to want to get at least some Neal Adams covers in there. There's the famous Batman covers, of course, and he did Phantom Stranger for a while. He did Green Lantern, Green Arrow, just iconic. Now, personally, I'll talk about my personal parts, love of and meaning of Neal Adams over the years, because the other stuff's going to be all over the news in general. But Neal Adams is the first comic book artist that I knew the name of. When I was a little kid, I had a couple pairs of Batman pajamas, and I found something kind of like them here. I'll show you a picture of it. And in one corner of the pajamas, there was they had sort of copied the art from this cover of a comic book. I think mine was the Batman, where sort of running with his wings up like this, and I forget which one it is, and there's like a moon behind him, and it said in the bottom corner, it said Neal Adams. And back when I was just even learning how to read, I was reading out this Neal Adams, and it wasn't like printed, it was like written, looked like a handwriting on it. And I thought it was the brand of the pajamas when I was a kid, and later I sort of digested it and learned, as my brother was then wearing my old pajamas, that this was the artist who had drawn this Batman. And I thought that was neat that I sort of identified the artist. Even I wasn't really following who wrote and drew the comics at the time. I was far more interested in the character. So that was he was my very first exposure to liking a particular artist and looking for it in more pajamas. And then later on realizing he actually did the comic books too. He wasn't just a pajama artist. And I've met Neal Adams several times over the years. He was I never really got to talk to him a lot, except for I did actually just in 2019. I saw him at Comic-Con in Seattle, and really no one was there to talk to him or in line for the first time in a while, even though he has one of the largest and sort of grandest stands you'll ever see, or stations at a Comic-Con. He's sort of always known to be sort of money-centric person, so he would get people through quickly. But he did stay and visit with me for a while, and he complained a little bit about having to pack all of this stuff. He was saying that this transporting all the stuff he takes from his stand with him everywhere he goes was becoming wearisome, and he had just come from Germany, and it was a fun little exchange. We talked for maybe 10 minutes and making a bigger deal out of it than it really was, but that was great. And a few times I got his autograph on some comic books, and also, but I had him sign him on the inside of books back in the day, not really on the cover. I thought it was a defacement. Now it's cool, but back then it was not what you did. But he did send a couple prints for me that I'll show you here. I'd had him sign most recently a Black Cat one, and I'll show you that one here, which I loved that he did this Black Cat, because obviously this is going to be my stuff. I love Black Cat and Spider-Man, and he also a Batman one I'll show you here, and he wrote 4 Rick and 2 Rick on them, and that was nice of him. And actually the second time, the Black Cat one, he didn't even charge me, but I think he charged me quite a bit for the first one. But anyway, that's some of my experience with Mr. Adams, the late great Mr. Adams, and I'll show you some of my favorite covers of his next. I want to talk a little bit about some of my favorite Neal Adams covers, and this is, no surprise, this is going to be on everybody's list. This is such a great cover. This is Batman 227, and I first time I saw this cover, I just had to have it. It's a swipe of an earlier Detective Comics book, and it is just awesome and classic Neal Adams. Now that we know, look, see this. Now note this guy running here with the cape, right? The hounds with the cape, and also Batman kind of looking moody and down. And then we'll look at the heroine's features here, and we'll just kind of track that through. And we have this one here, which is another favorite, Batman 250. I've had this since I was really young. Classic Joker. First sort of like it's really sinister, kind of jokey Joker, if that makes any sense. It's low grade, but it's my low grade, and I have a lot of memories with this one. And again, we sort of see the lines here. And Batman's like really super foreshortened. He's got one like a baby leg and a grown-up man leg there. But, classic cover. Then we have some others. These are less obvious ones. This is El Diablo and Outlaw. Now check out El Diablo here and see if he reminds you of anybody else. Hint that you may have seen sort of running around. There's a lot of similarities, right? There, I don't think the heroine looks the same necessarily. She doesn't, but let me see here. But it has that sort of look to it. It has that Neal Adams shine about it, and I like it. It's just a fun cover for me. I kept this book for years before I even knew that it was a Neal Adams cover. Now we have Iron Jaw from Atlas Comics, Barbaric Adventures. He's got a jaw and it's iron, so it's like, and he does. There's an iron jaw, so I mean, he's also got an iron sword, or presumably steel sword, so might want to pay more attention to that. But and here he is, like fighting a bear, and guess what? Here's our fella again. Like we can't get away from here's this guy, right? It's like they look really similar. I mean, Batman, that dude was born to draw Batman, because these guys look really similar like that. And we got dual bears, and of course we got the bikini-clad heroine waiting to get saved, and the mawing crowd there, and classic sort of Conan style, but still a great fun book. And even more fun, we have Planet of Vampires. This is like one of the worst comics I've ever held on to that I read. It is read stupid. It's just a really bad book, but the cover art is fun. I mean, we got laser guns that look like German Mausers. We've got some flying Pop-Tarts here. We've got it looks like a city burning, and even though there's a crop of spears fighting people with laser guns, a guy in spandex, chick who means business here also shooting. So this is fun stuff. This is great fun Neal Adams work. This is 74 Neal Adams here. See this? And there's Neal Adams. Now this one, if you've never seen any like I told you there's a lot of themes running here. Check the dude out here and check out Phantom Stranger. You know, these look real similar. He's on theme, right? And there's that. And it looks, you know, pretty Neal Adams-y. This is not. This is Jim Apatow. Oh, that's wrong and stuff. But this, I believe, is Neal Adams. Yeah. And then we have this guy here. Again, it looks really similar. Like, really reminds you. Here, check it out. If you didn't wonder, you know, about all the other books, they've got this guy here. Of course, it's the Phantom Stranger, so of course he's going to look the same. But yeah, it's not. I mean, he's doing cover swipes of himself at this point. You know, it looks almost the same. So that's a lot of fun, right? These are fun covers. And this is another classic. I'm not sure why this one isn't like really popular. I love this cover. And again, this is now, instead of Batman or the Phantom Stranger being the apparition, you've got the sexy lady apparition here, and some kind of sea creature eating the other poor hapless lady, and there's the Phantom Stranger down there. So the Phantom Stranger's got an even, you know, an Inception level deep Phantom up there, but looks, you know, classically. Here's the cape and hat again, just like we've been seeing, and more Adams work. So anyway, if I would highly recommend you pick up some of these old Phantom Strangers if you're into Neal Adams. It's cheaper stuff, but man, you just can't not love it, right? That's just great art. So rest in peace, Neal Adams. We love G. So I want to talk a little bit. Also, I'm going to hijack my own YouTube video to talk about the not late great, well, the great but not late artist John Romita Sr., who is one of my other classic favorites, and one of the few people I really wanted to meet and never have. I've looked at him, but I've not met him. Met his son several times, but not met John Romita Sr., and I fear my time may be past. But in honor of the 60-year anniversary of Amazing Spider-Man, I'll show you what I looked like 30 years ago today. So 30 years ago today, I had, it's hard to see in this picture, but I remember the shirt. I had a 30-year anniversary Spider-Man shirt on. Picture of me here in Hawaii with some friends, and so yeah, it's hard to believe his age has doubled since then, and I had already been reading it for what I felt was a long time. So there's that. But John Romita, I bought there's this to celebrate the 60-year anniversary. That's where I'm going. That is not a non sequitur, even though it seems like it. Had drawn part of a cover from Amazing Spider-Man #1, which nobody cares about these days. #1s again. He drew a picture of Venom, and it was sold to me as the first time John Romita Sr. drew Venom. And I said, I don't think that's true just in general, but I remember very specifically buying another comic 30 years ago that also said it was the first time that John Romita Sr. had drawn Venom, and the covers are really similar, so I wanted to share that with you. I think it may be that was 30 years ago was the first time he had drawn Black Cat. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that and share that with you, and so here you go. This is my copy of the 1 in 50 Hidden Gem variant of Amazing Spider-Man #1, volume, I think 6. By now, nobody gets excited about these things anymore, but they still tend to make lots of covers, which is Legacy number 895. And it's a Romita and Bagley cover. Looks like this. And if you'll notice, this looks very Bagley-ish, but this is probably all the Romita work here. Got the Green Goblin, Lizard, Venom, Prowler, Kingpin, Vulture, etc. Now, some people say, hey, this is the first time that John Romita ever drew Venom and Carnage. Now, it was sold to me as the first time he ever drew Venom and Carnage. But interestingly enough, here's this cover, which is similar cover. It's from 1992. It's an Italian reprint of some older Spider-Man books. And who do we see here? Looks like Green Goblin, Venom, MJ, looking kind of like an older version of the Romita one. There's a black cat, some crazy hair, and What Do You Know by John Romita Sr. So this is 30 years previous, right? So this is not the first appearance of, I don't think it was anyway. I don't think it was ever in contention. I just can't think of any other times. But let's look at some differences here. Here's the lizard there, and then we have the lizard here. Now look at neither one of these look very Romita-y. I mean, the dude's 92 now, so you can't blame him. But there's Venom, and then here's Venom. Pretty similar, really. But I think the scorpion, one of the scorpions, looks kind of like Spidey here, and he looks a little different there. And Green Goblin is in both, I think, right here and there. So anyway, that's just another artist's work. Then we can see Doc Ock is missing in this guy. Oh, Craven's in both. Let's look at Craven. Both of these are John Romita Sr. Cravens. And so yeah, that's that.